Well, hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Wildcat Week. I'm Roger Alcock. The women's basketball team had a tough loss yesterday against the Taylor University Trojans. The Wildcats came out of the gates and took an 8-0 lead, but then Taylor answered and went on a 22-3 run of their own. The Wildcats lost by a final score of 56-68. Joining me now to talk about that game is the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Whaley. And Coach, we haven't had to talk about a conference loss yet, and so it's going to happen sooner or later, I suppose. But a tough loss last night in a game. I know that after the game was like, man, if a lot of what ifs in that game. If we would have done this a little bit better, if we'd done that, we could have won that basketball game. Not taking anything away from Taylor, but there were some missed opportunities maybe in that game.
Definitely, and you said it first. We don't want to take away from Taylor because at the end of the day, their players made plays and we didn't. And unfortunately, it wasn't just making shots; it was making tough plays down the stretch when we needed them, and we made a nice little run there in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter. But again, tip your caps to Taylor. They made the plays when it counted. They got the stops when they needed to.
We'll talk about this a little bit later, but you talked about making the run. You got down by 20 at one point in that third quarter. Started chipping away, and in fact in the fourth quarter got it to a 9-point contest with the basketball. Man, a shot there, had a couple threes that were in and out, and again, that's kind of that what if one of those shots go, at least maybe you give yourselves a chance there. But down 20, that's a pretty rough comeback.
Yeah, when you dig a hole, you get in big trouble. We won the second half by 4 or 5 points, I believe, so when you go into the halftime down 16, it's tough to get out of, especially when you start out 8-0 run and then you finish the half. They finish the half on a 36-12 run. I mean, that's not going to win you a lot of ball games.
No. Well, we're going to take a look at some of the highlights of this contest. And again, we talked about that 8-0 run, and the great thing about it, the exciting part was, you got the bucket inside from Brittany. Katie Key hits a 3, Carly hits a 3, and you get out of the gate so fast. I almost thought a little bit of fool's gold because you hit those 3 and kind of got away from maybe pounding the ball inside a little bit more and settled for some long threes that weren't great shots. And then that kind of aided Taylor in their run, I felt, a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's right. We those first few possessions, we were fortunate. I think Brittany got the ball in the paint and scored. That's an ideal possession.
Yeah.
Katie and Carly made great shots, but they were quick in the shot clock. We were fortunate that they fell, but over the course of a game, if you're not attacking inside out, probably not going to make a lot of those shots.
Well, and you also kind of wanted to maybe put a little more pressure on that Taylor defense. I was going to ask you, though, they played a lot of zone. Maybe, I don't know if you've seen that much zone this entire season. I didn't think it was really aggressive in that, but you weren't able to hit enough shots to kind of pull them out of it, and so they were able to stay in it. And I thought that kind of helped keep them fresh too.
Yeah, they've been doing it more and more. They played exclusively zone against Marion the night before, and they were up 12 at half against Marion. So this is a zone, but you're right. It's not a run and jump, pressing, pressure type zone. It's more, we're going to make you make plays. And I felt like our seniors, Brittany and Anna, did that tonight. Last night they had 46 of our 56 points. I think Katie Key, Carly Lang, Martini, and Dayton Groninger. It's just one of those nights where shots weren't falling. I don't think they were lazy or didn't care. It was a rivalry game. They wanted to play well, but just wasn't their night.
Well, we saw a little bit of a breakdown there defensively a couple times. How did you assess, looking at the film, your defensive effort in this ball game?
Yeah, I think in spurts we were tough,
Yeah.
but then you see those breakdown in communication, breakdown in assignments, and tough teams don't have long stretches of breakdowns, and we did last night. But you know what? Just to draw on the previous weeks, I feel like we took 2 or 3 big steps forward in the recent weeks. Last night was a step back, so we have a chance to regroup and move forward.
And again, credit to Taylor because they hit some big shots there, especially in the first half. Now we're into the third quarter. Anna Imhoff, I tell you what, her game against Taylor, a career high 30. The game before against Bethel, she had 20. She's making good work out of her senior season. I mean, she's getting her money's worth this year, I think.
She absolutely is. In the 7 games that we've been without, at the time, our leading scorer, Nicole Ignashik, Anna's averaging 21.5 points a game in that span. So, we said it's next man up, and Anna obviously took that to heart, and she's kind of put our team on her back.
That was a big 3 there by Josie Cobb, and we had commented during the broadcast that you'd hit some big shots. You hit some threes. Boy, they came back and hit some big shots of their own. That made you cutting into that lead that much more difficult.
Yeah. Like I said, they made plays down the stretch when they needed to, and just kind of weathered every run that we started to make.
There you saw the jumper there by Brittany Washington. We talked about the 30 points from Anna Imhoff. Brittany Washington, she had a pretty nice ball game, 15, 16 points, but then pulled down 6 rebounds. I mean, she was inside battling, trying to make good things happen.
Yeah, I don't put any blame at all in terms of where the breakdowns were on our seniors. I thought they played their hearts out. You could tell that they understood the ramifications of this game, and I'm just hopefully February 7th the rest of the team feels it too.
Yeah, exactly. February 7th, Taylor will come to town. This was a big shot there. You were down 14. That lead cut it to 11. But here they come back. Kendall Bradbury, she's tough. I mean, she hit 3 threes in the first half. I don't think anyone is expecting her to hit 3 threes in an entire ballgame. Take 3 threes, and she hit those. But she had 25 points, and she's proving to be quite the player in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point she's made a case to be Crossroads League Player of the Year, if not, in the running for National Player of the Year. She leads the country in scoring, leads the country in offensive rebound putbacks. She's a monster. She does make, in conference, she's making almost 2 threes a game. So we expected that. She made shots.
Yeah.
I think that's all you can say. Great players make great plays.
No excuses. I know you won't make any, but having Nicole Ignashik out in this game in particular was tough. And we hope to get her back soon. We don't know when that'll be. But I think your benches stepped up against Bethel and whatnot. But it would have been nice to have your best post player trying to match up against Bradbury in that game.
Yeah, obviously, you always want to play with a full deck. But, that's not an excuse. We don't make excuses. It's like I said, been next man up. And up to this point, I feel like we've done a pretty good job in terms of contributions we're getting from people that we weren't prior to Nicole's injury. Like I said, last night Taylor had a great game plan. They stagnated us a lot and made it really difficult for our bench to contribute, and that was the difference in the game.
Well, Coach, coming up next for the Wildcats is indeed St. Francis. So they come to Lucky Arena on Saturday, January the 13th, 1 p.m. tip-off in that game. So good luck to you and the Lady Wildcats. Hope we get back on the winning track.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Raj.
All right. Well, when we come back, men's basketball, their game against Taylor University, it was a good one, so don't go away. We'll break that one down. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. We have some more basketball for you. It's the men's game we're going to talk about, and a big victory against their rival, Taylor University. The Wildcats played at Taylor on Tuesday night and came away with the win. Team connected on 24 of 28 free throws in that game. They ended the game with the win by a final score of 90-81. Joining me now to talk about that big win on the road is the head coach of the Wildcats, Gregg Tonagel. I talked about the free throws, 24-28. The final 15 free throws attempted were all made. I don't know. I mean, being a coach on the sideline, holding on to a lead, that's got to be a great feeling. I know people love the dunks and the threes, but when your guys step up and hit 15 straight free throws, that's a great feeling.
It's the simple things that you got to execute at the end of the game. And for us, that had plagued us up until this point. So to see us go up there and knock those free throws down, I think says a little bit about the growth of this team.
I haven't seen Taylor this year, but it looked like they maybe went a little bit small, which can cause some matchup problems for you at times. But you really took control of rebounding and out-rebounding them 39-24. I think that was another big factor in the game.
Yeah, I thought the way our guys handled the paint inside really enforced our will, especially late in the game. And Jacob Johnson gives us that versatility. If a team goes small, we don't have to adjust. Jacob can play small. If they go big, Jacob can play big. So he's a key component, and we're glad to have him back now.
Well, we're going to take a look at some highlights of this game and check in the first half. And in that first half, well, I don't not just the first half. I thought Joel Okafor in the last couple games has been really solid for you guys. Not flashy necessarily, but maybe finding his role a little bit better. I don't know.
Joel's playing awesome right now. I love the kid. He's a warrior. I mean, he's got that mentality. He makes people better. He's got passion. Joel doesn't back down from anybody, and he's only gotten better each and every game. So really happy for him.
We knew he could be maybe a defensive stopper in a sense, but doing some good things and getting the pass and finishing it. He passes, he finishes well.
Yeah. Joel's cutting around the rim well. He's finishing well. He's making shots, and he's made a lot of threes for us. So he's stuck in there and just continued to work and work even when things weren't going as well in his way.
Inside, working with inside. I continue as we get to watch Kyle Mangus. I continue to be surprised. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but all the different things he does so well. And sometimes he doesn't look like he's moving that fast or that athletic, and all of a sudden he just makes a great play.
He's kind of your throwback. He does things so efficiently, not flashy, and he's so good around the basket with either hand. I mean, I get caught watching him a lot of time, and I really appreciate how he goes about the game.
It was a nice little dish there by Grant Smith, who, especially in the second half, I thought Grant maybe had his best half of basketball that I've seen play because he's starting to maybe play a little bit more of an all-around game. He had a big block, playing some defense, grabbing rebounds. We know he can, is a highlight reel dunk in the basketball, but maybe expanding his game and playing a more complete game.
Yeah, Grant is getting better. That freshman year is tough. It's an acclimation, it's a transition, and Grant is coming out of that first semester, and he's got some momentum going into the second.
Kane and Coffee, big first half for him, that three there. He's getting the start for you now, but if he can be consistent from three-point range, that's a difference maker for you guys.
Yeah, and we've inserted Kane into the starting lineup, not just for shooting, because we know he can do that. He plays really, really hard. He's given us both so far.
Here is another big three, and that was a moment where you guys had built a little bit of a lead. Taylor started to make a little bit of run at you. His threes in that stretch, they were important.
They were crucial. And, you see Taylor making a run on us, and then we were able to sustain it and then built the lead back going into halftime, which was crucial. I think once they came back, for us to take it back was a big part of that first half.
Mason Degenkolb, the kid can really light it up. He's potential shooter that can get hot early. I never felt, though, that you let him get into any kind of a rhythm.
No, he took a lot of shots, and he made some, but I thought Joel did a good job. He is a handful guard at times.
That was a much more difficult play than maybe what it looked right there.
Neither of us know what it's like to be that big, moving in that direction, and be able to finish a shot like that.
I saw in this game from Evan, who's been quiet at first, a little more fired up, trying to be a little more vocal with the troops, and I like to see that from Evan.
Yeah, everybody's raised their level of intensity, and Evan's been at the forefront of that.
Well, now we're in the second half, and we saw that three from Kyle, but I think, Kyle really, in essence, kind of took over in that second half. And, that was a nice feed there from Jacob to Evan. But, in that second half, there's Jacob finishing inside, but Kyle was tough. I mean, just did a lot of things well.
Sure doesn't seem like a freshman, does he? I mean, just makes a lot of mature plays.
We were talking about Grant Smith. I love that little play, that just a little drive and the kick, finding finding the open man, and again, playing a little bit more of a complete game. That was a nice play.
Grant makes a lot of plays. I mean, he really does.
Evan Maxwell, he did not have a ton of points against Bethel, but he was really efficient. And if he can continue to shoot at 55, almost 60% from the field, that's a huge factor.
Yeah, I mean, we're an efficient team offensively.
Yeah.
We're top 5 in the country right now in field goal percent, because we get the ball to the right spaces, and we have the right guys shooting shots right now.
We saw down the stretch, Taylor's not going to give up at home. They cut the lead to 4. Probably don't see a whole lot of highlights of free throws, but when they cut into the lead, you got the big basket there from Evan Maxwell, and then again down the stretch, every time you went to the free throw line, you hit them, and that proved to be obviously very critical.
score ended up being 90-80, but it wasn't that high scoring game
Yeah.
for about the last 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, both teams we kept trading buckets, and then we finally broke free on a couple of these steals.
Yeah.
Kyle had a couple of them. Grant Smith had a block that turned into a breakaway.
Yeah, I thought maybe the play of the game was when Grant got the block on what looked like it was, maybe going to be a big three, went and converted down at the other end, and that was a huge play. Kind of down the stretch here,
This game extended. I mean,
Yeah.
the game kept
Yeah.
getting extended and extended.
Yeah,
We were making our free throws, but we were giving up shots.
Exactly.
We finally just needed to get a stop, and we finally did that.
It's one of the things defensively you don't want to foul, but maybe the defense a little soft in that scenario.
It's hard. It's hard. There's a balance there, and we finally came out of that timeout, got a stop, and that pretty much put an end to it.
Briefly mentioned the win before this at Bethel. Got to talk about that for a second because nobody goes up to Bethel in Mishawaka and walks out with a 21-point victory. I can't think of the last time anybody's done that. But coming off a 3-game losing streak, I know talking to Perry Frank, he thought that was the most complete basketball game. All 40 minutes, team played hard.
I was obviously pleased with the effort,
Yeah.
and the outcome was there, but it was a result of the effort, and we had to. Our backs were against the wall. I mean, I think Bethel obviously caught us at the wrong time, but we broke their 26-game home winning streak, and then, like you said, it was not just a victory, but it was in pretty dominating fashion. So I think it just speaks to the how good this league is, because then they turn around and they go win at Spring Harbor, which has been a tough place to play. So
For sure.
it's every night. It's a one-game league. You can only worry about the game in front of you.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming in. We want to remind everybody that coming up next for the Wildcats, the number 2 ranked team in the nation, the St. Francis Cougars, come to Lucky Arena on Saturday, January the 13th. Tip-off is at 3 p.m. right after the ladies' contest. So big game. Good luck in that one, Coach, and I'd love to see the Wildcats come away with the victory in that one.
Thanks, Raj. Appreciate it.
All right, when we come back, we'll check in with the women's swimming team. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. Well, we're going to talk a little bit of swimming right now, and joining me, a couple of the ladies from the IW swim team, Kamryn Vanwanzeele, I apologize, Emma Travis. Really quick, just give us an idea, Kamryn, where are you from, and maybe what as a swimmer, what's your specialty?
I'm from Plainfield, Indiana. It's right by Indianapolis, and I swim the 100 butterfly and the 50 freestyle.
Emma, some people around here might be a little more familiar with you, but tell us where you're from and kind of what your swimming strengths are.
I'm from Swayze, Indiana, so just 15 minutes away from IWU, and then I swim sprint freestyle, so no distance for me.
It's from Swayze. Have you taken any of your teammates to the chuck wagon yet?
Not yet, but I'm going to do that.
Okay, make sure she takes you to chuck wagon sometime.
Okay. I wouldn't rob them of that.
First year of swim program at Indiana Wesleyan. It's pretty exciting, and there's a lot of newness to it. But I know one thing, we've had Coach Dalrymple on the show. She's really happy with the core of this team. That's kind of the foundation of the team. I just wanted to share kind of like what it's been like to be at the ground level of starting a new program and maybe what you're learning in that process.
I think it's been invaluable. Like, swimming on an established team is amazing enough. Getting to know the teammates, learning how to work well, knowing how to swim individual races, but work together as a group and as an organizational team. So I think starting this off and beginning a team and starting to lay the foundation of hopefully a team that will be successful 20 years from now and 30 years from now is incredible. Like, we just love it.
And Kamryn, you're not only setting the tone as a team for maybe what you want to accomplish in the pool, but even what you want the culture of this team to be like spiritually, academically, athletic, in every area.
Yeah, Coach Emily, she actually started doing devotions every Monday. So we have a devotion before practice. And then Saturdays, she would have one of the teammates do a devotion. And so that would kind of lead us spiritually that way. And then we pray after every practice.
I wanted to ask you, let's talk about actually getting in the pool. So you arrive on campus, you're meeting your new coaches, your new teammates, and the first real meet is at Purdue for the Indiana Intercollegiates. You know, kind of a big stage. I know there was nerves, a lot of fun, but you know what? you guys performed pretty well in the pool that day. That had to be pretty exciting.
It was. I mean, that's a D1 team, and they're amazing. Purdue is really high up in the USA in general, so it is just so fun. It was amazing being able to walk in and see how everybody performs, because that was the first time actually seeing each other race and seeing each other's mentalities, their pre-race strategies, all the little things that make a team into a team.
Kamryn, in high school, you know, okay, you say you do the butterfly, and you guys are used to winning heats and stuff. Now in college, there's a lot of good swimmers, but it could be intimidating, but it could be a great challenge too, can't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I swim better when there are faster people swimming with me, because you're just like, oh, they're really good, well, I can be better. So you just keep going and going, and it's that healthy competition, and it was so interesting seeing how everyone competes in their own way and how they fuel themselves up.
So we had the big meet at Purdue, and the team actually fared very well in that meet. You had some dual meet success. Defeated Anderson, defeated Manchester. Had some really some great times against DePaul, which is the Division III, really strong program there. You've taken on the University of Indianapolis. So as that fall season has progressed, confidence is beginning to build, I think, maybe, and getting a little more used to what the expectations are?
Yeah, I think so too, absolutely. I think that swimming against harder schools is amazing for us. I think that getting the experience of going against U of Indy, they are incredible, and DePaul, and then Franklin College, getting that sort of experience is really feeding our expectations for our performance, and I think that it's pretty priceless.
Now, I wanted to ask you about, this weekend you begin kind of the spring portion of the schedule, spring semester, and you'll head down to Kentucky for the Center College Colonel Classic. Maybe they'll have some Kentucky Fried Chicken there.
Oh, I'm expecting it.
But you had a bit of an extended break, and that break, it wasn't eggnog and Christmas cookies. You had to go home, find a pool, get in it, and get some work done, didn't you?
Yeah. We stayed here at school for 8 days after everybody left, so that was a little bit of a different experience. The dead campus, nobody was here, but it helped us a little bit. It was a little intimidating, but it was really nice. It helped us focus on our sport without the distraction of school, without the distraction of other things to do. It was pure swimming.
Kamryn, can you tell me the difference maybe between the workouts now at this level as opposed to high school? Similar or different, or just?
The workouts, they seem more individualized, because in high school you just knew that they were going to be hard, but now it's like you have to, it doesn't matter how hard she works, because I need to work hard for myself, but we push each other in practice.
That's a good way to say it.
And in high school, like, it was like, oh, you just do your own thing.
So now you've got several more invitationals, a couple more dual meets, but really looking forward to, in February, the NAI National meet. Quite frankly, I don't think a lot of people knew what to expect, but as we look at it already, 6 individual qualifying times, 5 relay A standards, 2 B standards, and you're now just getting into the part of your season where you hope to improve times and see more cuts, and I know, Kamryn, you're hoping to get maybe one of those individual times in the butterfly.
Yeah. I'm only 1 second off.
And this is the time of season, though, where you're going to start. A second in a swim in 100 yards is
a lot.
Yeah.
But now you're going to start cutting those times, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies, super exciting. Excited for your success so far. Excited to see what the future brings for Wildcat Swimming. We thank you for joining us here today.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Again, thank you for joining us on Wildcat Week. And of course, if you want to see more of Wildcat Week, you can check us out at wiwtv.com. Once again, that is wiwtv.com, and check out all our past episodes as well here on Wildcat Week. So for the rest of the crew, I'm Roger Alcott. We say thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Wildcat Week.